This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Hello and welcome to Most Valuable Podcasts NFL Mock Draft. I guess live mock draft. We are going to do all of the 32 picks. Everybody's got their own teams here. I am the Mark Weber, dub them E's. I'm joined by Sean Anderson.
Did you know there's only 32 picks in the whole entire NFL draft?
Yeah.
We're doing the whole entire NFL draft.
It's awesome.
All 32 picks.
One day, get it done.
Exactly.
And go home.
There's nothing else to watch. There's nothing else. After that 30-second pick, you can just stop paying attention to any draft news.
Also joined by Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
All right. There probably doesn't need to be that much of an introduction to this. We're going to go through 32 picks. All of us have different teams. We'll get to that in a little bit. But first, I want to tell you some things that you should do. One thing you should do is go to patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcasts, because if you really disagree with some of the things that we say, you can go ahead on our Discord channel and yell at us about that. You can go to direct conversation with any of us on your phone. You can yell at us. You also can be a part of any Most Valuable Podcasts show to have a segment on that about whatever you want, whether it's basketball stuff, football stuff, whatever it is that you want to talk about, we'll talk about it with you. Of course, let's get to some good picks because this will probably be a little bit of a long podcast, so I want to make sure we get to it. We'll just first say who everybody has for the fun of it. I'll go ahead and start that. I've got the Oakland Raiders, the Detroit Lions, Cincinnati Bengals, Washington Redskins, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Raiders again, the Eagles, and then once again the Raiders.
So I am going to have the 49ers, the Giants, the Dolphins, the Vikings, the Colts, Chargers, Browns, and Texans.
And I'm going to have, I clicked a button, the Raiders, the Bucks, the Bills, the Packers, and the Titans, Seahawks, Packers, and Rams.
Oh, and then you don't have the Raiders, by the way.
I had the Raiders.
Cardinals, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have the Cardinals. I have the Jets, Jags, Broncos, Falcons, Panthers, Ravens, Patriots, and the Chiefs.
Fun stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll make our picks. We'll talk about it. If anybody wants to do trades, you are welcome to do trades. We'll just talk about it here.
What's the rule on vetoing trades?
If
it's a vote.
Yeah, we can vote on a trade. If a trade really doesn't make sense, we can vote on it. But there has to be a good reason. It can't just be, fuck the Raiders, you guys don't get to trade. But if it's the Bears trading their third round pick to get into the first round, doesn't make sense.
All right. I just want to know
Logically.
because last year we had trouble with who over there trying to trade with himself.
Now, you could trade with yourself.
I don't have that issue this year.
It has to be agreed upon with everybody else that it actually makes sense. Because, I have teams that might be interested in doing that. So we'll see what happens. But first of all, Dave Oster, the Arizona Cardinals are on the clock.
So I'm going to start with saying, is there a trade for the number one overall pick? Anybody have anything interesting to the Cardinals? Because they're listening.
Here's the thing that I don't know is, are they saying they want to take Kyler Murray to get people to trade up to take Kyler Murray? Because they still have Josh Rosen, and everyone knows this whole thing. It's like,
and he's a good quarterback.
Are you really going to trade away the guy who you took, 11th overall last year for a third-round pick or second-round pick? Like, I think this is just kind of hype. Yeah. I don't really know if the Cardinals are going to take him or not.
While at the same time ruining the confidence of your current quarterback.
Oh, 100%. It's horrible. Steve Keim doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, it's a really bad decision.
Really? Really? Is it? Because then I'm just going to draft Kyler Murray.
Go for it.
You're not even going to wait for trade offers.
There was an open floor. No one responded.
Depends. How badly do you want a quarterback?
He already made the pick.
Is that quarterback you're interested in Derek Carr? Because the Raiders are willing to part with Derek Carr.
I am taking Kyler Murray with the first overall pick.
All right.
Because it is the best pick for this team moving forward. I get it. People are pissed because they did trade up for Rosen last year, and there was some value there. They had to give up 1, 3, and a 5 to go from 15 to 10 for him. But at the same time, you've got a coach who gets moved in, who previously is on the record talking about how much he likes this guy, how this guy will fit the system. I just think that I saw very little out of Josh Rosen last year, and I think he still can succeed in the NFL, and I think his value is still there. So you keep the two quarterbacks moving forward. You decide going into training camp. There'll be another team who might be interested in Josh Rosen at a later time.
Interesting. Question for you. Did you want to draft Kyler Murray walking into here, or did we actually convince you to
no,
do it?
I wanted to.
Okay.
I wanted to.
I was just
he
curious.
was definitely number one.
All right.
He literally wrote on this thing, he's dope. You watched him this year, right? I didn't. System fit. Hypermobile. Still has a good touch. You did watch him, though.
I did.
Yeah,
I just thought it would be funny to say out loud, but I went back on that, and then Sean just called me out like that. That hurts, Sean. That hurts.
Well, I was trying to actually back up your pick.
Okay. Yes. No, I did actually love him. I did watch him this year. And the tape really tells the whole story. You need to know about him. I understand the whole 5'10" quarterback, his weight, his size issues, and behind that Arizona line, where he's going to take some hits from some brutal big men out west. I still think that he's the right guy for the system because he has that it factor to him that makes him special. And yeah, he's amazing.
Well, I'm next with the 49ers, and I'm just going to get this over nice and sweet. Dave, I want to shake your hand.
Wait, hold on. Before you do that,
no.
Any chance you don't want Nick Bosa on your team?
Nick Bosa. Thank you, Dave, for giving me Nick Bosa. As Dave
You guys are bastards.
shuns my handshake.
Bastards.
Because if I am John Lynch, I am getting this ticket up to the podium as quick as possible. Need an edge rusher. Thank you, Cardinals, for going quarterback. Nick Bosa, welcome to the 49er family.
All right, and that means
this has not gone the way that the Raiders were hoping. That is for sure.
I think now with the Jets being on the clock, I think most people
Ring. I have an offer
Can I talk?
for you.
Well, shut the fuck up. I think with the Jets being on
Hold on, before Sean talks.
With the Jets being on the board, I think most people are expecting Quinnen Williams. I am willing to trade the pick, though, just because you look at the Jets and their only one need isn't a nose tackle. Like they're not. That's not the one thing they need. They need a lot of help just around that team in general, both on the offensive side and defensive side. You got to help out your young quarterback in Sam Darnold, who you drafted. So I think seeing how they moved up from 6 to 3 last year with the Colts, I wouldn't mind staying in the top 10. And if I'm moving down to 6 or something like that, I'm totally in for that. So if you guys have any trade offers, Ricky, I'm down to listen.
I'm thinking.
Well, you weren't thinking because you just threw out the ring.
I did throw out the ring, but now I'm thinking the big thing, it's the Giants who would be calling. The question is with the Raiders, what are they thinking quarterback-wise? Do I have to jump up them? The trade I was thinking about.
The Raiders got a plan.
The thing I'm thinking about is I will give you just the only thing I want from you is the 3rd overall pick. I will give you my first rounder, my second rounder.
The 6th overall
So the 6th overall
Not
pick.
the 17th. Okay.
The 37th overall pick, my 109th pick, and a second-round pick next year. Very similar to the trade that the Jets did with the Colts last year. The only difference is instead of 2 seconds this year, I'm giving you a second and a fourth.
6, 37,
109. And then a pick,
109.
and then a second next year.
Anyone else?
Wait, what team are you doing that for?
The Giants.
Jets and Giants flip.
You want the Giants. There's a team that's slightly interested, but I don't think they really have that great of capital to make it happen.
I mean, you should throw it out there.
The Redskins are also interested in moving up.
All right.
The Redskins are interested in moving up, but I haven't done the math on
Just throw it out
what
there.
happens. But the Redskins will give this year's first.
This is what I'll say. This is New York to New York.
Yeah.
And this is going to be tough to make it happen.
Yeah, you don't want
that. And if a division rival of the New York Football Giants are going to come in here, you might be able to lowball it, but I might side with you.
So we the Washington Redskins, will give you this year's first pick.
Give pick numbers, and I'm going to put it in the calculator to see
15.
if it's fair.
So we're going to
I'm
give
not
you.
using the calculators.
I am.
We're going to give you 15
for my vote.
It was developed 30 years
For my
ago.
vote.
Yeah, and we'll give you our second round pick.
Okay.
We'll give you next year's second round pick.
All right, so 1546 in the future.
Yeah.
I'll take the Giants.
Yeah, they're so much more capital.
Yeah, the Redskins don't really have that much to give, and I don't want to give a first round pick next
The
year.
big thing is just the fact that I'm moving from 3 to 6.
Yeah.
And then I'm also getting those extra picks. So the New York Football Giants are on the clock.
And this is exactly why the Giants wanted to move up. They wanted to get their guy. The Raiders, I didn't think wanted this guy, even though they worked him out at the Senior Bowl, but maybe the Redskins did. Giants are moving up, and they're going to take Drew Lock, quarterback from Mizzou, at number 3.
Really?
Oh.
Yep. That's our guy. That's the guy the Giants want. That's who they're leaning towards. That's who we're trading up to get. Not because he's the 3rd best prospect off the board, because Maybe the Redskins are moving up for him. Maybe the Dolphins were getting a call together. Giants need to move up to get their guy, and no pun intended, lock him up.
I know we talk so much about getting your guy, but you don't feel like that's just a little bit of an overpay?
No, I got a 17th overall pick. And it's similar to if I look at last year, the Jets gave up 2 seconds and a future second. I'm giving up a second and a fourth along with my first overall pick. So I am happy with the value I got, especially if I think I'm getting the guy to be my future quarterback after Eli.
So you think that he wouldn't be available if you had sat still at 6?
That's what
you
I
think
was
somebody
asking.
would have hawked him?
I think, and that's the thing. Me as a team, I know, the Raiders, I'll be honest, I didn't think the Raiders were going to go ahead and get him. That's why I almost backed out.
They wouldn't have.
But as soon as I thought the Redskins might be a team to jump up, I said, you know what? Although it's not for sure that the Redskins would take Drew Lock, I'm not taking that chance. I'm not sitting there at 6 going, man, if I would have picked up the phone, we could have had Drew Lock. I'm getting the guy that I want, even if I had to jump up from 6 to 3 to go get him.
Interesting.
I mean, as the Jets, I just wanted to stay in the top 10, and I got 4 extra picks, and it's future capital to help my team out. So the guy that I wanted was not a quarterback. So the fact that you're going to overpay like that, I don't mind.
You need that too, because I know we're only doing the first round, but the Jets, the big thing why I think they need to trade in real life, they don't have a second round pick. Now you get a second round pick before that third round pick.
For sure.
All right. Anybody interested in the Raiders, number 4 overall? Anybody want to call the Raiders and to ask Mike Mayock how he's doing?
Do you think he's even going to think about it, or do you think he's just going to go with it?
I think he's probably just going to pick.
I think he's just picking right away. I don't think he's even. I think the phone is on Do Not Disturb. And it's an accident.
There's a good chance. I mean, the Raiders, I'll put it out there. The Raiders would have been interested in Kyler Murray if he was not drafted. But what the Raiders were really hoping for was that the Cardinals would take Kyler Murray so they could trade, maybe convince the 49ers to at least pick up the phone and get Nick Bosa. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So we got to go with Josh Allen. You got to get yourself that edge rusher.
I mean, that's the big thing.
He's the next best one.
After John Gruden said, hey, we might have won this game if we had a pass rusher after trading Khalil Mack. I know Quinnen Williams is good, but I mean, you go with that pass rusher, Nick Bosa followed by Josh Allen, and then Quinnen Williams. Now he's the top defensive player left on the board.
Very bold move. I'm not sure that I'm... I don't know.
What do I do now?
You got to get
Yeah, I
a
was
pass
gonna
rusher.
say-
You got to get a pass rusher if you're the Raiders.
Do I even...
Could have went with Greedy Williams, but it's,
Maybe it's a little high for him still.
Yeah, and if people say he's going to fall.
Fair enough. All right, so I guess that puts me on the board with the Bucs.
And
at
John
6.
Gruden did still try to draft Kyler Murray. He wrote it on his own piece of paper and tried to turn it in. They said no.
Jesus. This as the Bucs, that kind of puts me in an interesting position because I sort of don't know if I want to take Quentin Williams here. And I know it sounds crazy, but I'm leaning away from it.
Yeah, go with something else. Go with your gut.
Go with my gut. I feel like that's a trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, do it.
No, I'm
Go
Mark, I hate
for
you.
it.
Yeah, I just got to take the most talented player here. I'm going with Quentin Williams here for the Buccaneers. Like, it may not be the exact perfect fit in the world, but at the same time, I just think that he possesses something that there's very few guys in the league who even have the same skill set as him. He's big, he's strong, absolutely dominant.
And this was pointed out on, I think the Ringer just did a mock draft similar to this, where they had Danny Kelly and Kevin Clark flipping off picks back and forth. Danny Kelly said something about, they might not have Gerald McCoy next year. They might look to move his contract. And the guy that Quentin Williams reminds him of is Gerald McCoy. And Gerald McCoy's been such a large part of that defense, both physically, clearly, but also, just as a leader on that, on that defense. So replacing him with such a similar player and a guy you can control for 5 years, just sounds smart.
That's true. I'll take it. Thanks, Sean. Make me feel a little bit better about that pick because I wasn't sure about it going in. I was like, I did not expect you to be here when I got here.
Jets are on the clock at 6 now via the Giants of that trade. Anyone want to trade?
Oh, man, you're really trying to
anyone
stockpile.
looking for Dwayne Haskins?
Really trying
Well, the guy, I have a couple guys on this board for the Jets that I still feel like can make an impact. So if you want to trade, if I could still get more picks and, against stockpile guys in the second half, that's what I'm going to do.
I'll go ahead and pick up the phone.
Who's calling?
Redskins will give the same same offer. We'll give you a first. We'll switch our firsts, and then we'll give you a second, and we'll give you next year's second.
All right, so 15, 46 in the future.
Yep.
Anyone else? Ricky, I know you're probably thinking about it.
So the Dolphins are hovering, but the Dolphins are going to stay true to what they said. We've got thick Patrick. We're going to ride with him. We'll shoot for 2 in next year.
Yeah, that or they should just even wait one more year and just go for Sunshine Trevor Lawrence. Dave, you looking for trades?
No, I'm holding out.
All right.
I'm a holdout.
Jets are going to pass on your Redskins trade.
Redskins then pick up the phone again and say, what gives?
The fact that you're 15 and that's too far. They still want a premier player. They got their extra capital, and they're going to go tackle Jonah Williams to protect that quarterback in good old Sam Darnold. So Jonah Williams, tackle from Alabama, is now going to be a New York Jet.
Bold call. I did not see them going O-line necessarily. I mean, it's such a top-heavy defensive draft, so you're sniping out one of the best tackles in the draft. It's interesting.
Well, and there was rumors today, I know, that Rappaport and Garofalo aren't draft experts exactly, but they're hearing that O-line is going to be a much more coveted position, and when you have guys that are premier, like a guy like Jonah Williams, it's worth taking that, especially when there isn't that much of a deeper class behind it. It's not like you're going to be I mean, last year you can look, Colton Miller, I think, was the first tackle off the board, and that was still even a reach for the Raiders. It's such a premier position if you're going to get a guy like Jonah Williams, who is just a already great player.
It's plug and play.
I feel like it'd be stupid to pass him up. So Jonah Williams off the board at 6 to the New York Jets. That means the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the board. And I think we look at this Jaguar team because I'm also the pick for the Jags.
The Jags weren't trading up for that?
I mean, if anyone wants to call, go ahead, Redskins. But I think the biggest thing that they need to do is you get Nick Foles. You either need to add a primary weapon on the outside to help him and open up that offense, or add to this great defense or this past great defense that did struggle. And looking at that, there are a lot of edge rushers still on the board. And adding an elite edge rusher is probably the idea here for Jacksonville. So if anyone want to call Redskins?
Redskins are just mad right now. They're pouting. They're holding off.
Dolphins?
I'm thinking, but I'm leaning towards no.
All right.
I think that's a good choice, Dolphins.
I think that means the Jaguars are going to select Montez Sweat out of Mississippi State, the defensive end. You look at his combine, you look at his build. I mean, he's just elite. Physically. Didn't put up the production, but Jacksonville already has a lot of great defensive players. They have molded a lot of great players before. We see, obviously, Yannick on their defensive line. They were able to really mold him into an elite pass rusher, or at least a really good pass rusher. Dante Fowler didn't have that, but I don't think Dante Fowler had that motor. Montez Sweat, the biggest thing that I think he needs to add is just style and finesse, and also moves to his game. But clearly, physically, he is just unmatched. So I'll go Montez Sweat.
The only question that I'm going to ask you with this is, of course, this is a BPA pick. Mm-hmm. Why? Because with the Jaguars, you get Nick Foles. You're thinking that offense is going to be good. Why not go the same route that the Jets did, Juwan Taylor or a DK Metcalf, giving Nick Foles either protection or something to throw to, or a TJ Hawkinson who many have in the top. Well, a few have in the top 10. I don't have him in the top 10.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just it is BPA, and I think that personally I have such a bigger gap between a guy like Montez Sweat and some of the other players on the board, at least defensively, compared to the offensive guys like Hawkinson and like DK Metcalf. I think Hawkinson would be probably the pick if they were going to go offense. That was the guy that I was kind of battling with, but I think Montez Sweat can be so elite defensively, and we saw what the Jaguars did when they had an elite defense, and I think that he can just help push that boundary so much to getting you back to that level of an elite defense, and now you're upgrading the quarterback. So it's going to be easier for them to move the ball down the field, and they don't need to do too much. They don't need to be the number one offense in the NFL to be successful. They showed that 2 years ago. So I think if they're able to get just another push on that defensive side of the ball and just go after the quarterback on the other side and force turnovers and just give Nick Foles as many chances as he possibly can, I think that we'll see an ultimate breakdown of the opponent's defense, and they'll be able to win some games. The Jaguars, I think, underperformed last year. I think they overperformed the year prior. And I think that now you can look at this team, if they add Montez Sweat and he's able to hit, they'll be like a 9-7, 10-6 team.
It's a pretty big jump Pretty big jump for them.
Well, but you look at the year prior. I mean, they went top 4 to AFC Championship game. Now back to 7.
Don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, but now I feel like they have at least maybe they don't have a great quarterback.
They got a Super Bowl MVP.
They got a Super Bowl MVP.
But they have a guy who's been there, and they have a guy who can lead an offense. And I think that's the biggest thing for the Jaguars is they probably overpaid and they outbid themselves getting Nick Foles. But that doesn't mean Nick Foles is still not worth a new
I think
contract.
It'll still be a good fit. Yeah,
and I think that even then, there's so many wide receivers that have hit late in the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, we look at some of the top ones: Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen. Just looking at you, Ricky, for the Vikings. Those guys were late round picks, and you know the way that quarterbacks are being so focused on. They're going through drills. Someone needs to catch those balls, and someone needs to be defending them. So you're going on 7-on-7 drills, and you're playing tight man coverage, and these wide receivers are just getting better and better with time. So if you find a guy who might have fell because of his body size or something like that, but he can run routes, he's fast, he's quick, Nick Foles will be able to find him. So I think that's something that with the Jaguars, you can find offensive talent late. You can't find elite pass rushers late, and I think that's why you're going to go with Montez Sweat.
That's fair. All right. Well, none other than the Detroit Lions are up, and the Detroit Lions are feeling pretty good about this. They're gonna say, anybody ring in the phone? No, nobody's calling, nobody's texting, nobody's sending any emails.
The Broncos are calling.
All right,
John Elway's calling.
John Elway,
He's curious.
Non-committal. He's just like,
pick up the phone.
What would you want, Lions? What would you want from John Elway's team to move back to the 11th spot or to the 10th spot?
So if we switched, we'll have our pick switch, and then you give us our pick switch, and then you give us a second. Trying to see if I can milk one more out of this.
Here, I can't do a second. What I can do is I can do the 10th overall pick.
Yep.
I could do 148 and I could do 156.
No, Lions don't want that.
All right.
We would have.
I mean, here's the thing: is someone's gonna have to trade up to take a quarterback. So
Yep.
I don't want to give up too much because the Lions are taking a quarterback. They got Matt Stafford.
They're feeling good about it.
The Bills aren't taking a quarterback.
they're definitely taking quarterback
because they have
Everybody, don't listen to them. The Bills will definitely take a quarterback. You don't trade
might.
up with them.
because they have Josh Allen. So I
Yeah.
mean, the only team that you're gonna have to beat out, it would just be a team trading up. And we already heard the Dolphins; they're not looking to trade up. The only team that I'd be worried about is the Bengals. But I'm not too worried enough to give up future capital because the Broncos are a team that, again, they need a lot of help. They still have a very good base to their team, but I think that a quarterback isn't that pressing. I think it is pressing in the future, but they obviously they signed Joe Flacco for a year, and I think they're going to roll with him either way. So yeah, I'm not going to give up a second.
All right. So Lions are going to go Greedy Williams, the cornerback. Too many good quarterbacks in the NFC North, and too many good wide receivers in the NFC North. And Thielen just got his extension, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon. We need somebody good for Matt Patricia's defense, somebody that can just shut down. And even though Matt Patricia supposedly doesn't think Greedy knows how to tackle, I'm calling smokescreen on that one.
the Dolphins right now are going, man, we were not thinking about trading up, but that was the guy who I was hoping would fall to us at 14. Okay. Because, like I said, not looking for a quarterback to trade up, but I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, Greedy Williams, like, let's just see and look how he falls. And then I even thought to myself, any of the teams, Packers, Bengals, Broncos, Bills, are they going to go with a cornerback? And, of course, we're not mad we didn't trade up, but that was the guy we were thinking about.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But with that being said,
Lions are feeling good about it.
I am on the board with the Bills at number 10. And I'm like...
And the Washington Redskins pick up the phone and say, maybe third time's the charm. Let's switch our firsts, and we'll give you a second. We'll give you our second overall pick this year, and we'll call it a good deal.
Who's calling?
Washington
Redskins.
Oh, okay.
So swap first, so I'd be dropping 10 to 15, or 10 to 16, I'm sorry.
And then you get our second pick, second round pick.
15, yeah.
So you'll also get 46.
Yeah, you know...
Here's a call. Here's a call.
Oh,
just to throw us out there.
Second phone's ringing. Picking that up.
Broncos are calling.
Yep.
You only have to go down one spot.
Yeah.
You go 9 to 10, and I'll give you 2/5, 148, 156.
Yeah, but you could have a second. Imagine if you had a second.
Yeah,
but you're also the Bills, and two picks is better than one.
I mean, like, if you swap one of those 5s to your 4... Oh, man, one spot back for 2 5s does
I'll
not
do
really
one.
seem value.
Yeah, it's not exciting,
It's
right?
not. It's not.
Yeah,
If
but
you
you're
add
dropping-
those fives together, it's 10.
You're still-
Do you really want a 10th round
I
pick?
don't. He's got a point there. That adds up.
You're dropping 5 picks though. That's 5 players that are off the board. 5 elite players that are going away from Josh Allen.
The Washington Redskins are asking, who's it that you're interested in? I bet he's still going to be there.
Oh, I bet he. No, actually, he won't be.
No, I bet he will.
And you know what?
I bet he will.
I know your guy will be there.
How do you know my guy? Oh yeah, you looked at my
Because I know your guy will. No, I didn't. I know your guy will be there because you're not taking a quarterback.
Am
Broncos
I?
are trading up. They're
Aren't we revolutionizing the NFL with our
The
dual
Bengals
quarterback
have
system?
picked up the phone as well and just said, "Hey, how's it going?"
I love this.
Are they offering a trade?
No, they're just wondering what's
wasting
going
time.
on.
They're
Thanks,
just
Bengals.
nudging.
They're just saying they're just wanting to be part of the team.
I will take your 2 5s. I
think that's the lesser deal.
That's basically nothing. Is the problem? Like
That is
I want
something though.
No, 2 5s
I
is
mean,
nothing.
if you draft well, you scout well, you can.
No, but I'm
find
the Bills.
Players. The Bills have found great players. I mean,
Oh.
Tremaine Edmonds last year was fantastic. You look at on the outside their cornerback, who they just picked. Who they picked? I can't think of his name right now.
What's the calc saying?
Oh, I wasn't. I was waiting for Sean to be done. I was going to offer a point. Now I'm not trading. I'm just offering a
I'm
point.
totally blanking on the cornerback they have on the outside. I'll look it up. But they have had very successful drafts recently, the Bills.
I agree.
And I mean, this is a team that, I mean, with Sean McDermott as their head coach, they've consistently succeeded or at least outperformed expectations.
If you can sweeten a deal a smidge, it's yours, Sean.
Because here's the thing: you're giving
No, I'm not
you're
giving
giving
up
up
any
a
picks.
second.
Yep.
See, that's the thing. Like quality wise, Sean is right. If you can hit in the 5th round,
Yeah.
Tre'Davious White.
you can be there. But with you, the guys that you're looking for, do you think you're going to want 2 5th round players and have to really hit on those, or a 2nd round player?
That's right.
That's the thing that kind of plays into
But
it.
also
More of a sure thing.
2 players are better than one. 3 players are better than one. You're
Only
getting
if
2
they're
players.
good.
Yeah, but then I mean, if you're the Bills, you have to have faith that you're scouting well. And Dave, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're not picking those in the 5th round.
That's
You
true.
don't have to worry about
That's true.
yourself.
If you can-
you can't
If you can
fuck
swap
yourself over.
that one,
No.
maybe the first 4
I'm
up
moving
to
one, I'm moving 1 pick. So you're not losing out on the person that you want. You're just
Yep.
getting 2
We'll
picks
give you a
for nothing.
7th as well.
You're losing.
Ooh.
He should be sweet in the pot.
Yeah.
Like you are getting your portion no matter what. You're
No.
just getting 2 picks.
A 2nd is better than 2 5ths.
But
yes,
5,
but you're also moving down
You're
5
and,
spots.
and the Bills already have 2 picks in the 5th. You
Yeah.
have the Steeler pick as well.
Yeah.
yeah, as much as I want to do it there,
But then you could also take those
Go with the
4
Redskins.
5th round picks and move up.
I'm gonna go with Sean's deal.
Where is your American pride here? Trade with the
I think
the
it's hilarious
Washington,
that
D.C.
no one
Redskins.
wants to trade with the Redskins.
Don't worry, Mark. When you get to the Dolphins, Dolphins will call you.
I think we're saving the Redskins from themselves, if we're being honest here.
I don't know about that.
They shouldn't be
that-
trading up.
that wasn't a bad
They
deal.
have every single position in that you need to play football, the Redskins need it. So they shouldn't be trading up and giving up draft capital. So we're
But
saving
the one that's
them.
most important,
Washington.
they need to lock
They
in.
need a quarterback badly.
Arizona's listening.
But if they get a
They've got
quarterback,
Case
are they
Keenum.
going to win 4 games? No.
Hey,
You're
Washington.
going to put them behind a terrible line and lose more games, and
It's
just
all right.
probably ruin
Arizona
like
did the
RG3.
same thing.
I say Washington. Arizona's saying, "Hey, we've got an extra quarterback now. Are you
Yeah, you guys
interested in moving that their 1st round pick?"
Ooh, yeah, trades in general. That's true. It doesn't have to be just draft.
No,
pick
it
trades.
doesn't.
Yeah.
And the Raiders would have maybe, if Kyler Murray fell to the Raiders, would have been doing the exact same thing, drafting Kyler Murray and trying to trade Derek Carr.
Yeah. Well, now I'm in a position.
Yeah, but you don't have much to give us right now. You don't have another.
I mean, I don't
draft
have a first rounder.
Yeah, you
but
don't have a draft pick.
why would I give up? I drafted him at 10 last year, and you
Yeah.
think that his value is what now?
pick. We'll give you a 3rd
Oh, click.
for Josh Rosen.
Can the Broncos make their pick?
Passes the one click.
Can the Broncos make their pick now?
Yeah.
Dwayne Haskins, out of Ohio State.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean he's the best quarterback. I think he's the best quarterback behind Kyler Murray in this draft. So the fact that you're getting him at 10,
And he'll probably be
it's
healthy.
a steal. What?
And he'll probably be healthy,
Yeah.
unlike Kyler Murray.
And I think one thing too is you can ease him in. I mean, if this offense isn't going to be good this year, and obviously I don't know exactly what the leadership's going to be. If it was going to be Gary Kubiak leading this offense, like it was the plan, I feel much more comfortable going with Dwayne Haskins, but Flacco's probably not going to be there next year. It's going to be Haskins' team to run next year. So I think that's going to be something. I don't think he really needs time. I think he can step in and play a little bit, but I think having a mentor like Joe Flacco, who's been there and already just did that last year, will be huge for Dwayne Haskins' development. And I think you're getting a guy who's big body, who can throw, not really that mobile, but he does seem like a great leader out there. So we'll go Dwayne Haskins.
Fair enough. And guess who's back on the board again? That'd be me. With the Buffalo Bills.
They're back.
I assume at this point no one wants to trade up because all the quarterbacks are gone that we expected to go, unless
Washington picks up the phone and says, "Hey, I know that you guys, just did what you had to do, but fuck you."
Understood.
And then hang up.
So with that, the Buffalo Bills are going to be taking Ed Oliver. I think he is given a lot of garbage just because he is not the ideal size, but I think he's kind of that. He's a tweener on that line, but he's effective. You just have to look at what he does. Disruption not only for himself, but for his teammates on that defensive line. He pulls so much attention. I think that his value is insane. And the fact that he's fallen probably due to that size concern, I'm cool with. I'm absolutely cool with. As a Buffalo Bill, I'm happy with that pick. I'm happy he fell to me.
Well, and the only question I have with Ed Oliver is because a lot of people want to compare him to Aaron Donald.
Right.
And the thing is, Aaron Donald had rushing moves, like tricks in his
And
bag
also
of
was
pot.
like a 1 in a million player.
Yeah. Whereas Ed Oliver doesn't if he develops those moves, he can be something special.
And a big thing, too, that I was hearing, I think it was Tom McShay saying, talking with Ryan Russillo, a big thing with the comparison between Ed Oliver and good old
Aaron Donald.
Is the fact that Aaron Donald in college was just literally getting off the ball so quickly.
Yeah, he was instant.
And that's something that just you cannot teach.
Yep.
I mean, he had this just nature of just exploding, and he'd be like 2 yards up the field when everyone just like isn't even moved yet.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that Ed Oliver doesn't have because most players don't have that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that first step is everything, but I think Ed Oliver, he has that basically super top-end potential to get in that category. If you can teach him those moves to help round out his pass rushing efforts, he's already dangerous just purely on his own athleticism. If he adds in technique and you well round that out, oh man, he is dangerous for years to come.
Mark.
All right, well, Cincinnati Bengals are up. Cincinnati Bengals are going to go ahead and take their man. Not really that exciting of a pick, but it's a sure Bengals pick here. Devin White, linebacker, LSU. They need a linebacker. They're going to get one. They're kind of going to try and define their defense, I think. They got rid of Burfict. They're kind of trying to get rid of some of the bad attitudes on that team and kind of start new. They could have taken a quarterback if Dwayne Haskins fell here. Even if Drew Lock was here, the Bengals would have debated taking a quarterback probably just to stash away. But we've got enough time out of Andy Dalton that we can worry about a quarterback next year. We can take a quarterback next year.
Why White over Bush?
I like Devin White quite a bit when it comes to kind of your leadership. I love having. I know that when you have this whole idea of coming out your junior year and you have Devin White playing at LSU. LSU to me is not going to be your top kind of producer of these linebackers. And I'm not going to be too worried about that. What I really want out of Devin White is just a guy who's going to be aggressive, but not to be one of these perfect causing you penalties, losing you games. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to be really going to the ball always. He's going to be able to play side to side anytime, all over the field. To me, he's going to remind me of what the Chicago Bears kind of get out of Roquan Smith, and just a future leader who's going to be there for the entire career. And I don't know. Over Bush, you could go with Bush. I just kind of think Devin White's a little higher rated.
All right.
A lot of it's aggressive, a lot of it's physical.
All right. Well, with that being said, I'm up as the Packers, and I'm kind of left in a conundrum because it'd be the most what?
This pick is easy for me if I'm you. I'm rushing this up to the podium.
Why? Because I want an athletic freak who had an amazing combine.
Can I get a phone
Or
call?
a tight end?
No, I wouldn't take. You think DK Metcalf?
He's leaning Metcalf. You're thinking Hawk.
What can my problem with Metcalf is simply just the guy's got no route running ability.
Yeah, none. His 3-cone throw was awful.
He can't run routes.
Can't make cuts.
He can run down the field.
He can run down the field. He could be a true number one.
And Aaron Rodgers is really good at throwing the ball.
Just ask Richard Rodgers about that.
Right, but the Packers haven't taken a wide receiver in the first round like forever. So like it'd be a little uncharacteristic.
Yeah, they're not going to do it again.
I feel like they stay away
or not do it now.
But who is this phone call from? Who's this ringing me up, Sean?
I just want to know your price for the Patriots. I just want Hawkinson on the Patriots. And we have a lot of picks.
Do you
There's
now?
no way that we're going to ever trade up, and
They're
this is
just
just a
curious.
legit pipe dream.
This is you as the GM, though, Sean. Bill Belichick's retired. You're taking control of the Patriots.
Yikes, this is a fucking nightmare.
I'll take one Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Can you imagine Tom and A-Rod on the same team?
I'm telling you, the two-quarterback system has been underrated for years.
Yeah. Well, what happens when Aaron Rodgers gets hurt again? You got to play Tom.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a real good point.
You got to put your backup in. You need a good backup.
You'll put a good quarterback in there. I think what we would offer would be a first round. I mean, the Packers were trading a lot down last year.
We like to trade down. We like value.
So you get the 32nd.
Yep.
And then you'll get the 97th, the 101st, and 246. So first, 2/3, and a 7.
You also got another phone call. It's from the Washington Redskins. The Washington Redskins call and say, I don't know why we're feeling we should do this, but we feel like we got to tell you, go fuck yourself as well. I don't know why, but there's something in us that's just telling us we got to tell you. And then they hang up the phone.
That is phenomenal. Going down from... See, that's a decent drop, but it's 2/3 and a 6, was that?
Yeah, 2/3 and a 7th.
2/3 and a 7th. 2/3. About over a dozen spot drop. I'm leaning on the no button there. I think I'm going to be bold as the Packers, and I'm going to agree with Ricky here. And I didn't think I was coming into this segment, but I'm going to take DK Metcalf. There's just something weird about him physically where I'm like, if this kid can learn to cut and run routes, he's a number one wide receiver. He screams number one wide receiver. I know his drop rate in college. I understand that he did not have the most productive years in college, but I'm going into there going, he's got all the physical tools. He is a beast. He is a workout warrior, like T.O.-esque, like shredded. So I'm all about that.
Aren't you worried he's going to go into Aaron Rodgers' doghouse?
Dave, this is a simple pick, and the reason why it is to quote Enzo Amore about Big Cass. He's 7 foot tall, and what, Dave? You can't teach that. You can't teach athleticism.
Can you teach route
I
running?
can teach him how to run a route.
sure?
Yes, I can teach him how to run a route.
You can't
I
teach him to be
teach
quick
him
out of his
to
cuts.
be a freak athlete. That's what I can't teach.
We
and
can't
he's got
teach him to
it.
be quick out of his cuts. You can't
I
teach
mean,
him
you
how to
can
be...
eventually. You can work on it. And the Packers have basically made no-name wide receivers workable under Aaron Rodgers. So if you give him a true number one, potentially, he could do a lot of damage. He could potentially do a lot of damage.
Yeah, as long as he's not blood-related, he's fine.
Yeah.
And they don't look alike, so I think you're fine.
So the Dolphins are on the clock, and they're going to pick up the phone. They're going to call the Redskins.
Okay.
What are you looking for? We're looking to trade. What are you going to offer for the 13th overall pick?
Nothing. What we wanted is gone.
So there's nothing on the board that you may want.
There's about 3 things that we want.
We are looking
as
to
our backup, and
we
we're
are-
willing to wait and get one.
We
of
are
them.
looking to make a deal, Mark. A deal. We are doing you a favor by giving you a higher pick.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to give up more stuff. We don't want to give up
But
more
will
stuff.
it be a lot of stuff?
But we don't want to give up any more stuff. We want
Okay.
what we have.
Anybody else
we will
call
just
him
we will just straight up swap.
No, that does nothing.
We will straight up swap,
Mark,
and we'll give you a 7th.
Click. I didn't even hear that. The phone's been hung
A
up now.
future 7th.
Because that's just stupid. Anybody else wanting to move up? The Dolphins are open
Nope.
for business.
No.
No one at all. No.
We traded last year, and it didn't happen.
So what the Dolphins are looking at right now is quarterback is not going to be. We're not going Daniel Jones, so that's for sure. Greedy Williams was our top guy. He's obviously off the board, so we're not going to take him. The thing I am looking at, though, is cornerback number 1, but also defensive end, because this team needs something on the outside, and I am going to take – this guy has fallen a little bit. This is going to be a BPA pick. I'm going to go Rashawn Gary out of Michigan. Can't believe he fell out of the top 10, but he did. And I'm going to go ahead and take him over DeAndre Baker, over Jawan Taylor, who could have both been good needs for us. But I will take Gary, I will put him on the line, and I will move forward.
I kind of don't feel like this is surprising because Rashawn Gary didn't really do anything at Michigan. He wasn't really that productive.
But he has come out and said that the system didn't fit him. That's why. And of course, as a player, you're going to say that.
He's going to say that because he wants to go higher in the NBA draft.
Let's be honest, though.
I mean,
Jim Harbaugh's system might not have fit him 100% of what, and that could have been why he didn't have that breakout season.
So why does the Dolphins scheme fit Rashawn Gary?
We will make him fit. Like, this is one where I
think Jim Harbaugh wanted to make him fit. He was the number one.
I feel like with the coach that we're bringing in, coming from the Patriots, smart system, smart guy. Of course, it hasn't worked out in the past for assistant. McDaniels is back in New England, but I am faithful in our guy, Sean.
Flores wasn't even like the defensive coordinator. He was
faithful in our guy.
A defensive coordinator.
I stand by the coach I hired.
And a secondary coach. I don't know.
I stand by my coach.
And you probably should.
As a Patriot fan, I'd be happy if they took Rashawn Gary because I think it's a bad pick. I don't think he's going to really produce at all in Miami, and I don't think Brian Flores is going to produce at all in Miami as well. Falcons are on the board, though, and there's two big guys that I'm really interested in. They need an edge rusher, and I'm either looking at Clelin Ferrell out of Clemson or Brian Burns out of Florida State. You look at Clelin Ferrell, the production was there. You look at Brian Burns, though, 6'5", 250. Guy can like literally touch the floor. He's got crazy bend coming off the edge. Looking at that, I think I'm probably going to go with Ferrell just because I think that production's huge and he does have that motor and he does have, very high level experience. Brian Burns was going up against whatever Florida State was playing, and they didn't succeed that much at his time there. And I think Clelin Ferrell being in multiple college football playoffs, going up against Alabama multiple times, going up against guys like Jonah Williams, I think that's huge for experience, and he was able to produce in those games. So I'm going to go Clelin Ferrell for the Atlanta Falcons.
All right. Did you have? He does have better teams around him than Florida State did for Brian Burns.
But I think one thing is you look at the Falcons. They do have Grady Jarrett out there. They do have Vic Beasley, who tallied 14 sacks. Clearly, he hasn't lived up to the hype that much in Vic Beasley because that's the reason why they're taking an edge rusher is because he hasn't been superb. But they're also going to be getting back some guys that were injured on that Falcons team last year. More specifically, who is the linebacker, 45, who was injured for the Falcons?
I cannot help you. I'm awful with names.
Okay. Well, they're going to be healthy.
I don't remember that
this
either.
year, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing for the for the Falcons is being healthy and then obviously adding this talent. Because you look at good old Dan Quinn.
Deion Jones?
No, yeah, Deion Jones. Deion Jones and Desmond Trufant were both injured. For the Falcons last year, I think getting them back will be huge. Cool. And then I think Dan Quinn too, fighting for his job. He was previously, a defensive mind and helped build those Seattle Seahawks defense. So I think adding Clelin Ferrell will be huge for that team, and then obviously getting healthy.
Awesome. All right. Well, the Washington Redskins are happy because the guy they wanted is still there. Then, and they are thinking very similar to the Atlanta Falcons. They want an edge rusher. Since they can't get a quarterback, they want a guy who's going to hit quarterbacks. But they're happy to have Brian Burns. And the reason they're happy about it is you look at who else is here in the NFC East. You're going to run into a Saquon Barkley a couple times a year. Now you're going to run into a Jordan Howard a couple times a year as well. And Brian Burns, one thing I really like out of him is his ability to stop runs. He's really, really good with run support. So I think that's kind of the win-win scenario for the Redskins and the Falcons. They both got the guy they preferred because they both were looking at the same thing in the same place. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy with that.
All right, Panthers are on the board. Looking at the Panthers, I think they just lost. God damn it! Why can I not remember her name? Who did the Colts just sign? That was they just gave him $10 million.
I will look it up for you, Sean.
Come on, it was the wide receiver.
Chris Hogan?
No, the Panthers just lost him. The Colts signed the Panthers former wide receiver. Who is the big tall dude? Devin Funchess. They just lost Devin Funchess.
Funchess.
You guys really suck with names too. Come on.
I'm not
but they still lost someone on the outside, and they obviously did draft last year. God damn it, I can't remember a name to save my life. Wide receiver, who did they draft last year? DJ Moore. They just lost DJ Moore, so I think you can look at a weapon on the outside. Greg Olsen also isn't healthy. Hawkinson's still on the board. So I'd be looking either edge rusher, I'd be looking offensive lineman, I'd be looking cornerback, or I'd be looking for an offensive weapon. I think since the fact that Cody Ford's still available, I think that they're going to go with him and to protect Cam Newton's injured arm. I think you still have Christian McCaffrey out there and DJ Moore and Greg Olsen, if he's healthy, is still going to be there. And I think that, again, the fact that you look at how many, again, what I said earlier about wide receivers and how you could still find some good ones later on will lead them to take a guy in Cody Ford, because you're going to have to protect Cam Newton, because if Cam Newton goes, your timeline's just going to be all screwed up. So I think you got to protect him, and I'll go Cody Ford. Tackle out of Oklahoma.
Sounds about right. I can't really argue with that pick at all. It's sound. Ricky, you're up next.
I mean, I'm looking right now as the Giants, and I almost want to say how this draft is played out. I almost want to say, does anybody want the 17th overall pick? Is there any team in the lower part of the draft that wants to trade up with the Giants? Because there's 2 guys that I'm looking at, or 3 guys that I'm looking at, but I'm not falling in love with any of them right now.
Yeah, I'll give you a call. The Patriots are calling. 32nd overall pick, the 101st overall pick, and 246.
Say it one more time.
32, 73, or sorry, no, 32, 101, 246. So that's the third, a pick swap, and then a 7th.
The Giants are going to take that.
All right.
We will take it. And the reason why I'm going to take that is, so here's what I was thinking as the Giants. The 3 guys I was going through my head were the big 3 needs. Marquise Hollywood Brown, Juwan Taylor, and then just pass rusher of some kind. Clelin Ferrell was the one I was looking for. I was expecting the Falcons to go defensive tackle, maybe like a Christian Wilkins instead of Clelin Ferrell. Then I could get a Farrell to us, or even like a Brian Burns, because we've lost pass rusher. We just traded Olivier Vernon to the Browns. We need that. And I feel like I can get that later in the draft. I can get that at your pick, and I'm adding on more capital to this Giant team that we need to stock up. We need to get players in and kind of see who's going to be on this team in the future. And the Patriots are now on the clock.
You can also pretend like you won a Super Bowl at number 32.
Maybe.
That feels good.
I think the biggest thing that the Patriots want, and I don't think he will be available at 32, and one of the other guys might not be available at 32 as well, is going to be T.J. Hawkinson, the tight end. You just lost Rob Gronkowski. Maybe. He might be returning like
Yeah,
week
we'll
8.
see.
But for now, he is leaving. And T.J. Hawkinson is just a monster. He's an athletic freak, produced at Iowa. I think that there's so many upsides to him. He can play a natural tight end position. He could be an outside threat. I really like T.J. Hawkinson as a tight end. He's clearly the best. Noah Fant's still a stud too. But for the Patriots, you need to help Tom Brady out. And T.J. Hawkinson would not be there at 32. Noah Fant might not be there, so go out and get the best one.
Why him over Fant?
Why him over Fant?
Yeah, because that's the big thing of like, there's some people that like Fant and they say, oh, he's the athletic one.
Yeah.
And then there's some that like TJ Hawkinson because of the production.
Well, Hawkinson has the production, and I think the other thing too is that he is a great blocker. And the Patriots are not only losing Rob Gronkowski, the wide receiver threat. He was one of the best blockers on the Patriots for the past 7 years, or 8 years, however long he's been there. And I think that's one thing, too, that you have to look at is he is a much better blocker than Noah Fant. So he's not going to be the typical wide receiver. I think Fant will be a better wide receiver. But Hawkinson still has great hands, and he might not have that bursting, crazy, eye-popping athleticism, but he still ran a 4.7 and still had a very short shuttle time at 4.81 and had a decent cone drill, 7.02. I mean, that obviously isn't like elite receiver levels. But for a tight end, I really like that. I mean, T.J. Hawkinson isn't a scrub when it comes to the athletic test. And I think that the production's there, the blocking's there. I'll go T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah, he's just a more well-rounded pass catcher, tight end combo. Like, I would rather have him purely because he is willing to get down and dirty. He is happy to do run blocking. He's happy to go out there and put his body out there and show a little bit of grit.
Now, we know he'd be a Gruden grinder, but that's a Bill Belichick guy, too. Bill Belichick, a guy that's the Patriot way, baby. Anything the Patriots ask you to do, that's what they want.
Which I will go ahead and say that the Raiders, in my eyes, would be interested in a guy like that, but not in a trade-up type of situation. Maybe if he fell a little bit further to like a Seahawks, Ravens, maybe the Raiders will be willing to do that, but not something where you're going to have to maybe give up both first-round picks.
And that's the thing is the Patriots have 12.
Yeah.
I mean, and the 7th isn't going to hurt them. You already have 4 7th-round picks, and that's their third. That's their third-round pick too.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you have bullets to shoot, and that was also a comp pick from the Malcolm Butler deal. So really, you're trading Malcolm Butler 2 picks for T.J. Hockenson. And if T.J. Hockenson turns out to be something special, you weren't going to pay Malcolm Butler anyway. So
yeah.
I think that's a really smart move if Hockenson does pan out.
All right.
So, Vikings on the clock, and they are elated right now. They are jumping for joy. The biggest need that they need is still on the board. This is a guy that they were assuming coming into today. We're like, oh, he's going to be in the top 10. The Jaguars are going to go with him. Then he got passed up. Then they're sitting there and going, you know what, there's no way the Dolphins give this guy up. Then the Dolphins go with Rashawn Gary. Didn't expect him to fall either. The Vikings are going to draft Jawan Taylor, the offensive tackle out of Florida. This is a position that we need. Riley Reif was the only guy that was rated in the top 80 of draft grades last year. We need help on the offensive line. We got to give Kirk Cousins some more protection. Easiest pick in the draft for us, Jawan Taylor. Welcome to the Vikings.
All right.
Yeah, and desperately need offensive line, so not bad at all.
You also desperately need a quarterback too, but that's not available.
Oh, taking shots.
Kind of overpaid for that.
Yeah, but aren't you happy with all those regular season yards?
Yeah,
Sorry.
pretty nice.
Sorry about that.
Titans.
Titans are on the board. Man, I would trade this pick for a healthy season from a quarterback. Does that work? Can I do that?
Here's the thing: is you're getting half of a season from Mariota, and you're getting half a season from Tannehill, so you're fine. It's a smart move. You're hedging your bets.
Yeah, it's a rough one for the Titans. Like, in knowing that, I would almost be tempted to try to help bolster that O-line, but it's not even like their fault at this point. Like, O-line, sure, you could always use some help there, but I'm going with, I want the big boy on the board. I'm definitely looking at Dexter Lawrence here. I think that he is a instant impact player. Had it not been for the whole, like, did I intentionally take a performance enhancing steroid? I don't know. I don't remember doing that. Come on, he's like 340 pounds. He is a brick shit. He's wide. He's strong. He's got decent power for his. He's got decent speed for his size. I just think that he's an instant impact player and helps make this team so much better right away.
So that doesn't bother you. And I know this is later, and that's why he's not going higher. And I know your answer personally is like, okay,
Everybody does it.
Everyone does it.
Yep.
Is that a problem though? Do you think? My question here is going to kind of break the fourth wall. Would that be a problem for the Titans if you were not the GM?
I don't think so, because as long as you feel like as a coaching staff and a team, you have the right environment to bring a guy up in, as long as you control that, you control what he's going to put into his body. And I think that they've got nutritionists around all the time. You've got coaches, you've got personal, defensive line coach that's going to work with him heavily. Like, I'm not super worried that he's, if it was like a harmful drug, I would be more worried. If it was like, I'm addicted to cocaine, I'd be like, yeah, no, gonna pass on that one, backing off. But like, steroids in college kind of go together really well. So I'm not shocked that this happened, and I'm just going to move past it.
Everyone has a freshman 15. Everyone has like a regrettable one-night stand.
Yeah.
And everyone's taking PEDs.
Yeah.
That's just college, baby.
I mean, it's same in high school, to be
college.
fair. Like, do you remember how many kids were taking creatine in high school?
Just ask Thad Castle how that goes.
I don't know.
I mean, he took rabies.
Cocaine.
He took rabies. Yeah. That's what gets him up for games.
Yep.
Jesus. Steelers.
Steelers are up. All right. Good. So the Steelers.
It's been a while since you talked.
Yeah, it sure has. The Steelers would have honestly loved to take T.J. Hockenson.
Too bad.
They would have loved it. They would have loved it, even though they need a wide receiver more than a tight end. Same basic thing in that case. I think that for the Steelers, they still do have the debate. They could go Noah Fant, or they could take a wide receiver. And Noah Fant, I do think would potentially be a good pick here, but I think they're going to go with more of the safe thing and actually take a real wide receiver. So I'm going to go ahead and say, unfortunately, we can't take Marquise Hollywood Brown, who's probably the best wide receiving option here. Probably is not going to work out too well. So we'll take the other Brown and go with A.J. Brown out of Ole Miss.
I like it.
Big, sturdy guy. Great with his routes. He's fast. He's tall. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
You're going to love these nuts.
I do.
Seahawks
are on the board, and they're kind of,
I'm working it out, but I have a ring. The Colts want to call up, but we're finalizing our offer a little bit. We are going to offer you the 26th overall pick. Because here's the thing with the Seahawks, and we know it. You only got like 4 or 5 picks in this round.
Yeah. In this draft. In this draft, we only have 4 or 5 picks. If I had 4 or 5 picks in this round, I would be set. I'd be the fucking Raiders almost.
In this draft. And you'd be telling Mike Mayock, hey, don't mess it up. I took a lot of capital to get, I slung a lot to get you that.
Yeah.
But we're gonna give you the 26th overall pick.
Yep.
We're also going to trade you a 5th round pick, and then we'll throw in one of our 4th. So a 1st, a 4th, we'll throw in the 129, and then 164.
The Ravens are calling the Colts and me like, why are you doing this?
You know why we're doing this.
I don't know why. I'm honestly, why are you doing this?
You know why we're doing this.
I don't. That's why I'm asking you why you're doing it.
If they accept, you'll see.
I think there's someone on the board who is a pass catcher, if I'm guessing right. Does he catch passes?
That's not who I'm worried about. So,
okay.
Knock yourself out, Colts.
Okay. Seahawks totally agree to that deal. Not a problem.
Marquise Hollywood Brown is a Colt.
What?
Cool.
Marquise Hollywood Brown. And this is why the Colts, not knowing who the Ravens were going to go with, are afraid that, like, as this draft unfolds, the Ravens could go with a pass catcher. The Raiders could also, I know they got AB, but they could also go with a pass catcher. We've got draft capital right now. We're going to move up in this first round 5 picks to get the guy that we want at 26, and we're going to give Andrew Luck a deep threat to throw to. He might be a little smaller, but it's okay. We're going to give him a guy to throw to.
Are you concerned with the overlap between he and like a T.Y. Hilton? Do you think that there's enough to separate the two of those guys? Do you think that, like, stylistically, that pairing will work well for you?
I think it'll be fine. I think, like, yes, they're a little bit similar, Marquise Brown and T.Y. Hilton, but we need somebody to go out there. We just got Devin Funchess, who is going to be different to T.Y. Even if we get to play Marquise in the slot a little bit, then move him out, like, we can.
Are you trying to break him in half?
Can mix
the dude
and match.
Weighs like $170.
Yeah,
we can
that
mix
was
and
the
match.
thing I was going to ask is a big thing that I've loved about Antonio Brown is that he has stayed healthy for a large majority of his career.
Yeah.
And T.Y. Hilton isn't a pinnacle of health.
No.
And
I drafted
looking
him,
at Marquise Brown, he's already injured. He's already injured coming into college. Does that worry you at all?
Not really, because if it was a huge thing during the combine, something would have came up. Like, he came in, he did the medicals for the combine. If anything was drastically wrong, it would have been a red flag. So I didn't expect him to be here. I expected, honestly, like the Redskins, if they didn't get their quarterback, to go wide receiver and get him. So the fact that he's here,
who's throwing that wide receiver the ball?
I had to trade up. I had to trade up and go get him and make sure he's there.
Exactly.
Can you read off the trade again? First round pick swap.
So it's a first round pick swap, and then I believe I gave you the 4th, which is the 129, and then my 164 5th.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, so 4th and a 5th and a pick swap. The Ravens are on the board. That's not who they wanted. The fact that this guy's still on the board is shocking. This is the first pick without Hall of Famer Ozzie Newsome running the board, but they are getting a steal here. They just lost C.J. Mosley, so Devin Bush, come on down from Michigan. This is an absolute steal.
He's a good one.
He's falling for no reason. He's athletic. He produced. Devin Bush is a monster. Devin Bush is the next great Ravens linebacker.
And that's a big, like, the thing with the Ravens is there's 3 things in my mind that you could have went with here. Either edge rusher, because Terrell Suggs is gone. C.J. Mosley, like you said, inside linebacker, gone. And then wide receiver. They need somebody for Lamar Jackson to throw the ball to. I thought
sure
you
do.
might have gone Marquise Brown. I was not thinking of Devin Bush on the board, and you possibly going with him over Marquise.
The biggest thing is the Ravens don't have any wide receivers. I mean, I don't know who is on that team anymore. I know they lost John Brown, they lost Crabtree, they lost Max Williams. They still have two of the tight ends they drafted recently, Mark Andrews and the kid from Hunter Henry. Not Hunter Henry. Who was the guy from South Carolina last year?
I'll look it up. I got the
What the fuck
depth
is
chart
wrong
right
with us
here.
today? But the kid they
Already a
took,
late day.
the kid they took second, the kid they took in the first round.
Their
last year.
tight ends are Nick Boyd, Hayden Hurst. Who you're thinking of?
Yeah, he used to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates and everything. I know everything about these players. I just forget their names. But yeah, I think that you can still find wide receivers late. And there's a guy that I love from Notre Dame in Miles Boykin.
Dude.
He's a monster. He should be a first-round pick. He produced. He's big. He's fast. I don't know why he's not a first-round pick in most people's minds, but I'm not going to take him in the first round if the talk is that he's not going to go in the first round. Yeah. Because if I can get him in the second round, I'm going to get him in the second round. I'll trade up to get him too early in the second round because it's easier to trade for a second than it isn't first. So I'll go Devin Bush here. I think it's great value for the Baltimore Ravens. Ricky, you're on the clock.
Yes. So what I am looking at is with the Texans, I'm really looking at two guys right now, and that is either somebody on the offensive line, whether that be a tackle or whether that be a guard out there. But then I'm also looking at the cornerback, and DeAndre Baker is still there. And I'm sitting here, and while the Ravens are doing their thing, I'm kind of deciding back and forth, and I'm like, what should I do here? What should I do there? But even though DeAndre Baker is there and cornerback is our top need, I'm going to double check to see if this guy did not go, and he is not. We are going to take Dillard, the tackle out of Washington State. We got to give Deshaun Watson some protection. We can't be letting him run around like a chicken with its head cut off. Protecting Deshaun Watson, number one priority. Andre Dillard, welcome to the Houston family.
Yeah, there wasn't a team that I had that needed an offensive tackle, but I think like if the Chiefs, were looking for an offensive tackle, that'd be a perfect guy. I mean, he obviously was a big pass blocker, being in Michael Leach's offense, but Andre Dillard was the great pick for the Texans. They need some help there.
Yep.
Mark?
All right, well, the Oakland Raiders draft strategy has changed a little bit due to some of these picks. And I'm going to say it. The Raiders could use a cornerback. We all know they could use a cornerback.
Really?
I just don't really... I'm just not thrilled with where they're at to take one.
Are you serious? Really? 'Cause there's a couple corners in that range that I absolutely be happy
maybe
to
I
take.
shouldn't be saying it here, but I feel like they can just wait till their next pick.
Okay.
And I'm going to even go ahead and say it. So I'm going to do the risky thing here with this. And like I said, there's a good chance that I regret this later on, especially since I've announced what our draft strategy is.
Yeah,
and that's
hurts.
by taking Josh Jacobs.
Oh. Wow.
Josh Jacobs, they need a running back as well. Running back class is not amazing in this one, but you go and get who's probably going to be the best one here. Some people might say it's a little early.
Yeah, I don't like him that much.
But-
just in general. But
As a
what do
person,
you like
or-
about him? No, I don't know him as a person, but as a prospect, like, what do you like about him?
Well, I always love a good, and I know Alabama's offense has changed a little bit, but I always like a good Alabama kind of power running type of a running back. But the thing that I love about Oakland is even if you're saying that, you're maybe going to be a little bit nervous that this draft class is weak for running backs and you don't like any of these running backs that much, the Oakland Raiders are actually pretty set when it comes to offense. Got Antonio Brown. You've got Derek Carr. You're building this up. Really what they kind of need is more defense, but like I've already made that point. I still think he's going to be the best addition for the Raiders if it comes to them drafting a running back.
Well, and the
Tiger
thing,
just made a par. Sorry.
I was watching. I'm like, oh,
he had a crazy shot. Sorry. That was just getting pumped.
we're recording this on Saturday, one day away from possible red polo tiger. But the thing
go.
that I like about him is when I watched his film early in the kind of draft season, the first thing I thought was his ceiling is Mark
Oh, yeah.
Ingram. He could be a Mark Ingram
sure.
type player. And I get like the Alabama connection, but like he runs in a very similar way to Mark Ingram. The only thing I wonder with how the league is going with the pass catching is a team going to draft him and then realize, hey, we need like an Alvin Kamara type of player, a Tariq Cohen type
Kind
of
of what
player
Chicago just
behind
did.
him.
Yeah. But I think that there's no problem for the Raiders then going out and getting a different kind of running back too, and going and searching for somebody that way. I definitely think you could do that, but I also will say it was honestly tempting. The Raiders do not really need to do this. It would have been a bad pick for the Raiders, but I really was tempted to go with Noah Fant. Just for the hell of it. Just to stack that offense.
If he's on the board
more.
when you come back around, are you going to take him?
I would be debating it, but probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
What's the reason you wouldn't?
Just by need. They really don't need it. I mean, they could use it, but they don't really.
I mean,
actually
a
need
big
it.
thing that Derek Carr likes to do is go short.
Dump off?
He doesn't really go deep. He hasn't gone deep since he broke his back or whatever that was.
And the argument is, of course, that Antonio Brown isn't really your dump off kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's not a guy who's going to run slants. He doesn't do that as well.
So usually, if you got a guy like a big tight end who can open up the middle of the field, that would be something that I think would make sense. So I mean, if Noah Fant's there at 27, I think that would be good value for the Oakland Raiders if he's still there.
Could be. Not a bad idea.
You're up again.
So Eagles want to know if anybody wants to trade up.
Wow, the Eagles have been trading down. It's such a similar site. I'd be interested.
All right.
Colin from the team that also beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Oh, that feels good.
Another pick swap. Patriots have a lot of picks, and there's a couple guys that they're interested in. What would it take for you to just completely go out of the whole, first round?
Go out of the whole first round?
Yeah, because I don't have a pick to offer.
You're the Patriots?
Yep. I don't have 32, 101, and 246.
So you've still got 56.
Yeah.
You still got 46.
64.
Or 64, I'm sorry. You still got 64.
73, 97, 134, 97, 205, 239, 243, 252.
Whole bunch of sevens.
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of stuff. I don't really want your sevens.
Shocker.
So much, but I'm just kind of looking around to see which other ones you guys have on my little chart here. If you were to give me 56, 64.
Nope. I'm not giving up 2 seconds. I'll give you 64 and something else.
64. You give me that. You give me your 97, and then you give me one of those sevenths. The Eagles will do it.
Do I have 97? Yeah.
The Eagles will do that. A second, a third, and then the seventh.
What are you thinking?
I'll pass right now.
Okay. The Eagles could make a pick right now, but the guys I think that the Eagles would really love to have are probably going to be there.
All right. So this is a luxury pick then, basically. That's what you're saying.
I guess so. Anybody else interested in trading with the Eagles?
No, I'm good.
Now we good.
All right. So in that case, if the Eagles have to make their pick, they're going to reluctantly go ahead and do it and get Deontay Thompson.
Oh.
Safety. I think he would probably fall a little bit more, and I think that they could probably still get a good safety in the second round, too.
Yeah.
But, you need it. Go get it. The rest of the team is honestly pretty damn good, so you're in good shape no matter what.
All right. That
Dave,
makes
you're
sense. So the Seahawks are sitting there going, we've already traded back once.
Do it again.
Do we want to do it again? Like, is there a guy who stands out to me? And there's, on my board, I've still got two guys who I would be happy to take here, but it kind of decides on my relationship with a certain quarterback in April 15th.
Yeah, who are you thinking about exactly if you're on the board? Because obviously you're
Well, hang on. I'm gonna let the call come in first.
I was just going to say, Chargers kind of sit there hovering over the phone and then go, nah, we're not going to
Great,
do
thanks
it.
for adding that. What do you think?
Raiders also hover over the phone and go, we're next. We don't need it.
What are you
just want to
thinking
be part
about?
of the team.
Who are your two options? Because obviously you're talking about Russ.
I was kind of bouncing between Lindstrom and Jeffrey Simmons. Simmons would be the risk taker. You don't know, yes, he's talented, but how is he going to come off that injury versus Lindstrom, who, if you really believe in that offense, if you really want to bolster that offensive line for Russell Wilson, you go with Lindstrom because I think he's talented. I think he's incredibly talented. He's instantly pops in as a plug and play guard. It's just a question of, April 15th isn't here yet, so I don't know like what that feeling is with Russell Wilson. I think they want to give him a long-term deal, but it just dollars hurt, and I don't.
Oh, they're totally going to do it. They're going to give him a bit long-term deal.
There's no reason they shouldn't.
Yeah, so I'm going Lindstrom. I'm taking Lindstrom with that pick.
All right. Center.
Cool.
Yep. Well, he can go all three basically. But yeah.
Played center in college.
Yep.
All right. So here's the thing. The Oakland Raiders, once again, are on the clock, right?
Yeah.
The Oakland Raiders sit there and they say, somehow, DeAndre Baker's still on the board, Byron Murphy's still on the board.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like these guys, there's a good chance they'll still be on the board later on, too, when we pick at 35. So fuck all y'all. We're going to go with Noah Fant. We're going to do it. Woo! Sean made it too convincing of a case.
Really, the only team that might hurt is the Packers.
I know. I wasn't taking him anyway, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like, realistically, that's the only team that it hurts in the first
No,
round.
it was a fuck all y'all because I wasn't going to do it, and then you guys convinced me to do it.
Which, by the way,
Nice.
the Chargers then go, well, thank you. You make our decision a little harder because we're going with a cornerback. And Baker Murphy, we kind of decided between the two, but we settle
pick Baker Murphy.
on DeAndre.
Yeah.
We decide on DeAndre Baker, cornerback out of Georgia, to fit our backfield need, and then we'll look for offensive line help later on in the draft.
The Chiefs are up. Damn, this came up on me quick. I was not expecting me to be up already.
Yeah, quarterbacks fell quite a bit.
Yeah,
in this one.
And that's actually huge for the Kansas City Chiefs because they need a lot of defensive help. Defensive backs, one of them. Edge rushers, one of them. And I think that, since you went with DeAndre Baker, I will just go with Byron Murphy.
Oh, good call. Good call. I think Byron Murphy's a good fit there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at what he can do. I watched him a ton, being a somewhat Washington fan.
Mm-hmm.
He can cover a lot, and I think that he also can drop back as well. He's pretty multi-positional. He can play safety, and you just signed Tyrann Mathieu. And now you have two guys who can just be hybrids out there, and you do have Kendall Fuller out there as well in the back, in the secondary. So I think that's one thing that they can do. And I think one thing that the teams have overlooked too is like when you have, people always think like you need pass rushing to like really attack the quarterback. But if you look at the Patriots, I mean the Patriots never put money into their front line at all, and it's always great secondary. And this is a team that's won the Super Bowl 6 times in the past, since 2000. And I think, coverage sacks are something that are always overlooked because you're going to get 5 seconds to throw the ball no matter what. Whether you have a good offensive line or bad defensive, whether you have a good defensive line or bad defensive line. You might get them in 3 seconds if you have a great defensive line, but you're going to get to the quarterback in 5 seconds. Like a pocket's going to break down no matter what. So Byron Murphy being able to cover, guys deep down the field and having the ability to also, ball hawk. I'm going to go Byron Murphy. I think he can really flip the field for the Chiefs, and that's going to be huge, obviously, because I don't know if you guys know that's so good at scoring points. So Byron Murphy.
I heard they're okay at it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that I got to ask the cornerback. Teams that just won quarterback too, corner, because the Raiders. One of the things about the Raiders too is they would be secure enough. I think doing that because there's a third guy whose name I hate, Amani O. I look at Ricky as I say this because we tried to look up how to say his name right.
From Stanford?
Yeah. No, Penn State.
Oh, Penn State.
And just because of the fact that he's big.
Isn't it like Olaware?
Something close to that. He's a big, solid guy. He's always right there with wide receivers. He's not a guy who's going to really get beat a ton. He's got a few things that he could work on, but honestly, I think that he's a really good pickup as well. Just because I'm curious, because this is kind of what I'm banking the Raiders picking Noah Fant on and passing up on the other guys. Do we think he's a guy who slips into the first round, or is he a guy who's going to be a second rounder?
Who, Noah?
No, Amani.
I mean, he could. Like, if the thing is, it depends on how trades go. Some team could trade up for it, but like, depending on how quickly the cornerbacks go, if Baker goes early, if Murphy goes early, because of course the thing I love about this live mock is like when you come up with a regular mock draft, you can put it on paper, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to rethink some things. In this, you're kind of in the heat of the moment where it's like, okay, I'm on the clock. I got to make a pick. I can't stall here and take forever to think about it. If Murphy and Baker don't fall, though, maybe then by like the Chargers and Chiefs, I think one of these two goes with a cornerback, and then maybe they would take him, or do they go with an Abrams if they need? Like for the Chargers, they could have went safety as well, but no, they went corner instead.
All right. Well, with that being said, I get the back-to-backs here with the Packers and two.
You guys want to trade?
Oh, who's calling over there?
The Patriots.
Oh, are the Patriots trying to get another tight end?
When did the Patriots
Oh, okay.
call trade up?
What?
When did the Patriots trade up?
When you have 12 picks?
No, trade back. Get 16 picks next year.
There's no need. I mean, you're just gonna let all these players walk again. You're just gonna get more comp picks.
Eventually, you have the whole draft.
Yeah, they're already gonna get comp picks next year for other the defensive tackle leaving, their offensive tackle leaving. I literally don't know anybody's name right now. Trent Brown.
I'd say as the home Patriots fan here, you just can't even name.
Who did the Lions sign?
Jesus.
It's been a rough year.
Yeah. No, I understand.
God damn it, I know his name.
That's okay. What is your offer? You can think about the name later.
Yeah, let me do that. I think that looking at this, I can give you 56, and I'll give you a 7th. I'll give you 243. 56 and 243.
56 and 243 added on to the fucking Packers draft where
Trey Flowers. That's it.
We've already got 2 4s, 5, 2 6s.
That's really not a lot for the Packers.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I'm gonna pass on this one and take Christian Wilkins.
damn it.
Because
He's fallen.
Yeah. I no one said anything, and I was just like, please don't look at my computer. That's why I kept turning my computer back and forth.
Well,
That's who I was trading up to get.
I figured.
It was that or Jerry Tillery. Because I love both of those guys.
damn, he is fallen. See,
that's
this is what
literally
happens
just
when the
people
Falcons
forgot.
go with something that no one thinks they were going to do.
No, that's just literally nobody was paying attention to the fact that he was still there.
No, I was.
I wasn't paying attention because I got.
That's why I was
That's
trading
why you
up.
kept trying to go up.
I got something brewing for 32, and this team that is going to trade up might have went with him, but I didn't even know he was there. I'm going someone else.
I mean, Wilkins is a guy that just screams Patriots to me. I mean, he is such a low floor. He's not like crazy athletic, but he's a smart player. I mean, that's exactly who
Does
the
he do his
Patriots
job?
want. He does his job.
He does his job.
This guy
He
goes
brings
out
it
and
every
gets a damn
down.
Masters while he's playing college football. Like, I mean, Christian Wilkins is like the exact guy you want on the Patriots. So, I mean, that would have been a crazy pick for them to get, and that's why I was hoping I was gonna lowball you because maybe you don't need it, and you're just getting extra capital to help this team out. But I mean, you were smart.
I kept looking. I scrolled up and down like 3 times. Like, did no one?
The fact that you took Dexter Lawrence above him, that was the surprising thing to me.
I think
I didn't know why you went with Lawrence over.
I like the upside. I think that I know exactly what I'm going to get out of Christian, but like I think Dexter Lawrence has that extra little it factor that could be there. And I'm reaching for the sky. All right. So then I got the Rams pick. And I'm going, anybody want to trade up?
Yeah, I do. I still want to trade up.
You still want to trade up?
Yeah, for the Patriots. I'll give you the same thing though. 256
I still feel like I'm being lowballed there.
256 and what was it 243?
Yeah, that's quite the low ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to move up, but if you want it, if you want the extra draft capital, it's not. Is it about winning the trade or is it about getting who you guys want?
That's fine. I'll just keep my pick then. I'll go with Garrett Bradbury. Gonna go ahead and take myself somebody who fills an immediate need for this team. Comes in, plays, does everything we need, and I'm glad he's still there. So yeah, I'm gonna take him. Be happy. Rams just gonna keep on trucking.
Cool.
Sexy offensive line picks.
Hey, I can't help the fact that we literally just
offensive
let someone
line.
go in free agency, and we're like, all right, well, somebody's got to step in.
Yeah, someone does.
Go out and pay a rookie.
All right, what you got, Dick?
Dick
He's not
Widmer.
even paying attention.
No, I'm looking because
he's driving it up.
there's a trade that's coming in. The Cleveland Browns call up the New York Giants, and they say, hey,
You're
New
not.
York.
Oh, you are controlling the Browns.
Yeah. And they say, hey, we got a trade for you. What do you say? And they are going to offer their 49th. I have to redo it because my screen refreshed. I believe it's their 49th and their 155, plus a 4th round pick next year for the 32 overall pick. And the Giants then say, we like that. We will take that only if there are no other offers on the
So
table.
you're giving out a what? What's the trade again?
So it's a
49.
It should be the 49 and the 155, a 4th and a 5th, plus a 4th next year for the 32.
You guys are way undervaluing first-round picks.
We are.
No, I'm using the calculator, and that's what I'm going off of.
The calculator's so old.
That's what I'm using.
It made in the 1980s.
Fourth and a fifth to get up into the
And
the
a
first.
fourth next year.
Yeah, to get up into the first.
It's the 32nd.
and they're
It's
not
basically
even giving,
a second-round pick.
They're not even giving up like a second.
It's basically a second-round pick.
It's not a
I think
second
you're
round pick.
overvaluing first-round picks.
It's not a second-round pick though. It's a
No,
first
because
round
you get
pick.
that 5-year contract.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
That last
Especially
pick of the
for-
first round.
what
you get
if he
that 5th year.
sucks?
No, but you get that 5th year. That's
I
the
know.
important part.
Especially
Let's
for a
see.
team like the Giants that could use
Last
it.
year, Baltimore gave up a second, a fourth, and then a second.
Yeah, 2 seconds,
That's a lot.
and you're giving a fourth and a fifth.
Then I'll give up.
Vetoed.
Then I'll do a second and a fourth and a second.
That I will accept.
Unless Sean has a call for the Giants. The Giants are looking for other offers.
Although to be fair, do the Browns have a second?
Yes.
49.
49. Okay. I wasn't looking that far down. Not used to the Browns
Wait,
being
no,
not at the
because
top.
I did. Then it was a no. At 49, I misspoke. Then it would have been a second, a fifth, and a fourth next year. That's what I was thinking. So similarly, but
So what is your final offer?
my
What can you offer?
reoffering because I screwed up. The first one was a second,
Great content.
a fifth.
Yeah.
Well,
It's all right.
I misspoke. I
Things
meant
happen.
to
We
say
don't
second.
name. We don't know what
Oh no,
we're
that's
offering.
been you, bud.
But to be fair,
don't come at
to be fair, none of
I
us
knew
have
the
been able
names
to
on
help
my
them out.
team.
To be fair, I've also thrown out, hey guys, who are these people? And you guys are like,
I'm not good at pop quizzes.
You have 49, 80, 119, 144,
The original
155,
was a
170.
second and a fifth from this year, 49, 155, and a fourth round next year.
Okay.
That was the original offer.
The Patriots will throw out 56, so second round pick, 134, a fourth, and a future fourth.
But think about it, Giants. Who's more likely to be good next year?
We want our pick back.
Patriots are probably going to win again.
yeah, no, that's what I'm
But
thinking.
it's a fourth pick.
Would you sweeten the pot
No.
at all?
No,
Then
I don't even want to offer it.
I'm going to go with the Browns
That's
pick.
good, kind of good because I want to know what the Browns are doing. I want to know why they're trading up.
The Browns here are going to trade up because they've been seeing, first off, they, unlike us, were looking at Christian Wilkins and going, he is fallen and I need a defensive tackle. They're not phased
Do they know he's up
that
for
he
it?
got taken. They still need a defensive tackle, and they're like, we can move up to 32. The Giants take this because we gave up picks to get Drew Lock. Then we got picks back when we traded back from 17 to 32. Now we're getting more picks. So, hey, that Drew Lock deal, we're coming in the green for picks. Now the Browns have a question to make. Do you go with Jeffrey Simmons, the defensive tackle out of Mississippi State,
The woman beater.
or do you go with Jerry Tillery, the defensive tackle out of Notre Dame?
The god.
That is the biggest question.
One of those guys fits the Browns pretty well, wouldn't you say, Sean?
What?
I think he's setting you up for Jerry Tillery. Am I right?
I was.
I mean, I just think that you look at Jerry Tillery and you look at the combination of size and athleticism, and you compare that, you put that next to Myles Garrett. I mean, it's going to be an unstoppable front four. That's why I was going to trade up and try to get Jerry Tillery, because I thought he would be fantastic in the Patriots front line. I think he's a monster. I think he's better than Simmons. You're taking a guy, I mean, with the Browns too. I mean, Simmons is going to be out for a whole year. He just tore his ACL. You also have those character concerns as well with him. So that's something that you have to take advantage. I think Tillery, there's not that. The biggest thing is consistency, but if you're pairing him next to Myles Garrett, it's way easier to be consistent.
And the Browns, they're sitting here, like, the character issues are one thing. Browns don't care about that. They took Baker Mayfield last year whenever.
One's punching a
No,
woman.
I know.
But they do have Kareem Hunt
I'm just
as well.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
That's what I was thinking.
do not
So
care.
maybe
when
they
it
actually
comes
do want
to
Simmons after all.
When people were like, "Hey, you know what?" They're like, "Oh, Baker's got character issues." They don't care. Took him number 1 overall. Hey, Kareem Hunt just got kicked off his team, and we don't even know how many games he's going to miss. They took that.
That one's more comparable than Baker. Come on.
They're sitting. I'm just saying, like, they're not going to let that.
They also drafted
phase
Johnny
them.
Manziel.
They also drafted Johnny Manziel. I think after consideration,
At that point, Manziel committed any crimes yet?
Yes.
Which one what did he commit?
Wasn't there an incident with him and the police?
Was that before or was that after?
Ooh, I thought it was right before.
I don't remember.
Maybe
It's been a lot of
I'm
Johnny
wrong.
Manziel things.
I started combining Johnny Manziel with a couple other quarterbacks in my head, so like I might be totally off base.
Who are the Browns taking though?
They're still thinking.
Oh my God.
They're still thinking
Clock
here.
is ticking.
You traded up.
I am going to go with... I'm going to go with my gut. We're going to go with Simmons out of Mississippi State. That's the guy. Even though the injury, he can sit this year. We're loaded enough. He'll come back next year.
a good chance he would have been
very
available.
Jalen Smith-ish with the Dallas Cowboys.
Why would you not just wait though? I mean, I think there's a possibility that Simmons is available.
The Browns were sitting there going, hey, you know what? There's a possibility that he is not there. And we're not, like, when it comes to the draft, I'm not here to sit around and maybe get our guy in the second. We're a team that, hey, is going to want to compete, want to add some guys in. And this is one where, kind of like when the Cowboys added a Smith who was injured from Notre Dame, this is a guy that's going to help us when he's healthy. And he is going to be a great player on this defense. That's why we traded up to get our
Get him
guy.
for 4 years instead of 3 years.
Well, yeah, we get the 50-year option on
Well,
him.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because one injured, so 4 instead of 3.
Yep.
Yeah. I got
And
you.
I mean, because of the injury, then yeah, we get the 4 instead of 3.
Yeah. That's fair.
And that wraps up the first round.
With the first pick of the second round, the Arizona Cardinals are taking Irv Smith Jr. I'm just tossing it out there.
That's a good pick.
Who's second then? Who's second in the?
Here, I'll pull it. I have the full order up.
Basically, can I get the pitch?
Well, the
Next
next one would be
next
the Colts.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just get the pitches?
Or did I give you that one when I trade? No, I trade up with the Giants. Never mind.
Yeah.
It'd be the Colts.
I just want Hakeem Butler on the Patriots.
Cool.
Because that guy is a stud.
the next Patriot pick is
56.
It's going to be a while.
Yeah, I missed the 56 one. I was going to go 64.
Yeah, I got that from the Bears.
Yeah.
That's the guy I want. Like in the second round, like that, I would look at Hakeem Butler. I would look for my guy Miles Boykin. I love those two guys so much, and that's why I kept like passing on wide receivers, is because those guys are still out there. Even N'Keal Harry as well from Arizona State.
Paris Campbell.
Paris
Campbell's my guy.
There's still a lot of guys that are still available. This first round, I mean, that's why I think that the first round picks aren't that important, because in the second round, yes, you're not going to get that extra year of control, but I mean, there are still a lot of playmakers that we did not pick this first round, because there was only 32.
Well, and I'm surprised that the Steelers went A.J. Brown over Marquise Brown.
They can't take Marquise Brown.
They totally can.
No, they can't.
They can't.
They can't.
You can't get rid of Antonio Brown and then get his cousin.
I think that would be the
No.
perfect storyline.
No,
They
it would be a
can't.
terrible
They
storyline. That would
absolutely
make the
can't.
Steelers look even worse.
It'd be the worst possible outcome ever.
And also,
I think it would work.
if this is going to be a Moneyball type of situation, you got the room of a bunch of old scouts going, well, I don't know, his cousin did it. He's probably going to do it too. He's going to sit out and not play for us.
Oh man.
So you got to be nervous about it. Any other thoughts anybody had? Any things that they just are dying to say about this draft?
I can't believe Christian Wilkins fell all the way to 30.
I honestly completely forgot that Christian Wilkins was even around.
We
so.
had one of these last year, too. Who was the guy last year that everyone's like, how is he still there? And this year I was like, I'm not going to let that happen. And it happened.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that, again, we saw so many just combine monsters come out that I don't think it's that crazy that he did fall. There's no real, there's no concern with Christian Wilkins, but there is no standout impressive performance. I think the fact that Montez Sweat went so early, I think that's a reason why he fell. I think the fact that Atlanta didn't go with a defensive tackle, they went with an edge rusher, that was a reason he fell. I just look at Wilkins, I think he's going to be a really good player, but there's guys that just have those intangibles that stand out above the rest. Because when you're looking at Brian Burns, you're looking at Montez Sweat. Those guys are 6'6", they're fast, they're quick, they're bendy like Brian Burns is. I mean, those guys just immediately go to the front of your mind over a guy like Christian Wilkins, who I know is more of an interior rusher, but he's still a guy that doesn't really jump off the page. And also, I think there has to be the talk of, let's look at that Clemson defensive line. We have 3 guys, I believe, from that defensive line that went in this first round. Are all 3 really going to hit? So if you're looking at those guys, you have to look at the guys that do have those intangibles. And Christian Wilkins does have the intangible of his mind, of his play style, of his leadership. But does he have the actual physical intangibles that make up an NFL pro?
Also, the Redskins would be very quickly picking up a phone with the Cardinals and just saying,
Yeah.
how about that? How about that Josh Rosen?
How about that Josh Rosen?
How about a second? I'll give you a
Oh,
second.
we've already improved to a second?
I would give up 64 for the Patriots. I mean, Josh Rosen, I would love to see him as a Patriot.
I gave up a 1, 3, and a 5 to get him. Or I swapped a 1, and then I gave up a 3 and a 5 to get him. So I don't know.
And now
if
he's just
a
taking up a
second is
roster
worth
spot.
it. No, I'm not having him that quick.
So, question, because I'm looking at last year's to see who it was.
'Kay.
Was it Rashaan Evans or was it Deron Payne?
No,
Because I'm looking
I
at
don't
last
remember.
year. I
I
think,
think you're thinking of our NBA live draft where Robert Williams fell to
no,
the Celtics.
there was one in the because I remember because the Outcasts were there. I remember on that side of the table going, "Oh my God, no way did he fall."
What's the actual sheet called?
I
remember.
looked it up on the YouTube from last time.
Trying to scroll down.
Well, I think it might be gone.
No, it's
Last
there.
year's.
Because it's the one that you made. It's got 2 tabs. I didn't know you were making one, so we have now 2 of them. I had to go to the video to look at it, but yeah, I think it might have been Rashaan Evans. Might have been the guy that was like, "Holy shit, how did he fall that far?" And you want to know who took him, Dave? Look who took him.
Who took him?
The Packers. Who took Christian Wilkins? The Packers.
Nice.
So in our live mock, the Packers get a guy who just falls, who just free falls down the.
It had to have been
How
because
did
someone
we-
would have traded up.
Do last year though. Last year Saquon went 1, which would you do that again, Ricky? Would you
Yeah,
take Saquon 1 as the Browns?
Yeah, because I took a quarterback at 4.
But you took Josh Allen over Baker.
Yes, I would take.
You would take Josh Allen over Baker.
No.
now?
I would take Saquon at 1 because
Okay.
I'm getting a quarterback at 4.
Gotcha. Okay, but you take Baker.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Knowing what I know now, I'd take Baker over Josh Allen.
Would you take Baker 1?
be available?
I don't know. Would Mark take Baker over Sam Darnold if he was the Giants? Because he was the Giants
Yeah,
too.
I
number
probably
one-
would have.
Yeah.
Now, knowing what we know now.
Yeah.
So right now, what would you do?
I would do Saquon number 1.
and then
And then
Mark
Baker
you at 2.
Baker number 2.
You had Baker 2, and then that would probably be Kyle would take Darnold. So that would mean
Yeah.
I would
Take Saquon?
probably have to go with
Josh Allen.
at Josh Allen
Oh, you
because
took
I would take
Saquon 1. That's
I
right.
would take Josh Allen over Josh Rosen, but Josh Rosen, it's not his fault. His offensive line is
Yeah, Rosen's
poor.
being undervalued.
Yeah.
Big time. I think I screwed up too with the Colts. I went Bradley Chubb over Quentin Nelson, which looks like not a bad pick. Bradley Chubb was fine last year. He was good.
Yeah.
But Quentin Nelson was so damn good.
But would love to, even though I love Roquan Smith for the Bears, would love to have Quentin Nelson on the Bears still.
Also, remember when I gave you my 23rd pick and then a third and then 2 third-rounders for Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
For the Dolphins?
That was
a
good.
time. A good time.
Denzel Ward
Patriots.
also went 14th.
Yeah, that was a fall. And you
And
got
I
him.
traded up for
Yeah,
him.
that was a
My
good one.
favorite part about this is the people watching that are like, guys, we can't see this.
Yeah.
we
Well,
don't have this.
We're just talking about it.
Yeah, but let's for the sake of the people who are listening, let's respect their time.
Okay, real quick, Derwin
They
James
love us,
did also
Mark.
fall in ours. Derwin James went 18, and the Chargers missed him. So they went Vita Vea, which is
Vita Vea.
a bad pick from me.
I love it. I love that a lot, though. But hey, you know what? I got Mike McGlinchey going to the Bills. I don't think the Bills will be feeling too good about that either. But hey, at least no one had Colton
He's a
Miller.
good tackle. You took Mason Rudolph though. That was the bad one.
Mason Rudolph. Hey, Mason Rudolph. You know, maybe he's gonna play one day. Maybe he's gonna play one day. I remember that the Bills. They just felt like they needed somebody. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you're still listening or watching on YouTube. Let us know what picks we got horribly wrong, despite it being a mock draft, and really, there's no such thing as a wrong answer on a mock draft. But let us know what we did that made you mad. And you can always get at us on Twitter, too, at Most Valuable Pod, at the Mark Weber, at Ricky Widmer. Dave, don't tweet.
Dave _don't _tweet.
That and Schwarbo.
Schwarbo.
I can never remember if there's numbers after Schwarbo, but there are not.
Just Schwarbo.
And of course, you can go on patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast, and you can give us a little bit every month to help us out. But also maybe $10 tier, you get on some of our podcasts. That'd be pretty cool. You can talk about whatever you want, and we'll be there just with you. You also get to be part of our Discord channel. You can talk to us immediately once this goes out and just tell us what we did that you disagree with or ask further questions. But hope everybody had fun. And in just a few more weeks, we'll find out what actually happens for the NFL draft. We'll see you guys then.